Maratha cuisine in Bengaluru. That's what we're going to check out in this episode of Gourmet on the Road. So stay tuned till the very end. This is the chilli chicken which is done Karnataka style. A look of happiness, that's what happiness looks like. You know, sometimes when you're having the keema hunde, you're also tasting some of the binder that's gone into it. But out here, all that I taste is the flavor of that meat. Marathas have been an integral part of Karnataka, some accounts say since the 17th century. They came in first as warriors and since then have settled and integrated into Karnataka's landscape. What they also brought with them were their rich culinary traditions. So today I'm here to meet one such Maratha family that's carrying forward the Maratha culinary tradition right here at the eatery Maratha Darshan in Bengaluru. So let's go in and check out what Maratha cuisine is all about. Let's go. You know, when I look at this wall, this is symbolic of the integration of the Marathas in Karnataka. So on the wall, of course, you have Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and you have Karnataka's iconic personality, Dr. Rajkumar. I think that speaks of the integration of Marathas into Karnataka's culture. Hello, how are you?
Nice to see you, sir.
Nice to see you too.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I'm here with Mr. Naveen Lad, whose father started Maratha Darshan.
Yes, sir.
So ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಗಿದೆ? How many years?
Almost 26 years.
26 years ಆಗಿದೆ.
26 years.
Okay.
91 we started.
91 ನಲ್ಲಿ.
Yes.
I am told this restaurant had very humble beginnings. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶುರುನಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲ. We started in one small ತಳ್ಳೋ ಗಾಡಿ. ಪುಷ್ ಕಾರ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾವು ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಟೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. Again, one small restaurant. Now we get into a big restaurant.
So what is special here about Maratha Darshan? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜನರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ Maratha Darshan ಹೋಗಿ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ?
Why? Because ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೇಲಿ ಮಾಡೋ ಥರ ಫುಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಮಮ್ಮ ಕುಕ್ಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ರೀಡಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಮ್ಮನೇ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಟನ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಚಿಕನ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮರಾಠಾ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಮಮ್ಮ ಕುಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಮರಾಠಾ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಮಟನ್ ಚಿಕನ್ ಕೀಮಾ ನಾಟಿ ಚಿಕನ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಮರಾಠಾ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆ ಥರ.
And
that's his mother who is in the kitchen even as we shoot this. She's busy there giving the final finishing touches to the dishes.
Yes.
Kitchen alli hogi meet madboda?
Yes sir, please.
So let's go into the kitchen here at Maratha Darshan and see what's cooking. I can see some masalas being ground. I can smell the aroma of that masala in the air. ಏನಿದೆ ಇದು ನವೀನ್?
ಇದು ಮಟನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಮಸಾಲ.
ಮಟನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಮಸಾಲ. ಸೊ ಏನಿದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ?
ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್, ಚಕ್ಕೆ, ಲವಂಗ, ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ, ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೊ,
ಓಕೆ,
ಶುಂಠಿ,
ಓಕೆ,
ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ ಸೊಪ್ಪು,
ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಇದೆ.
ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಇನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇದು ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ?
ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ,
ಓಕೆ.
ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿನೇ ಮೇಯ್ನ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಇದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್.
So he says that all the ingredients that go into this are Naati, local, country ingredients, whether it's the vegetables, whether it's the herbs that go into it, and that makes a huge difference when it comes to the flavor. ಇದೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ನಾಟಿ ಚಿಕನ್ ಮಸಾಲ.
ನಾಟಿ ಚಿಕನ್ ಮಸಾಲ.
ಎಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಮಟನ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಮಸಾಲ, ಚಿಕನ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಮಸಾಲ, ಆ ಥರ. ನಾವು ಮಟನ್ಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಚಿಕನ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೆಂಪು ಕಲರ್ ಯಾಕೆ?
ಕೆಂಪು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಖಾರದ ಪುಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ ಸೊಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ರೆಡ್ ಇದೆ ಇದು.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಯಿ ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ.
ತೆಂಗಿನಕಾಯಿ ಇದೆ. ತೆಂಗಿನಕಾಯಿ. ಮರಾಠ ಡಿಶಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ತೆಂಗಿನಕಾಯಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಅಡುಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. 100%.
300 years ಇಂದ ಮರಾಠಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಮರಾಠ ಮತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮರಾಠ ಫುಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ, ಮರಾಠ ಫುಡ್ದು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗಿದೆ.
100% ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಹಾಂ,
100%. ಈಗ ರಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಮರಾಠ ಫುಡ್.
ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್.
ರಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಫುಡ್. ರಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಈವನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ರಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ, ರಾಗಿ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರ ಊಟ, ಲೈಕ್ ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಫುಡ್. ಅಪ್ಪ
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಈಸ್ ದ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮರಾಠಾ ದರ್ಶನ್,
Mr. Shantharaj. Yes. So I'm with Mr. Shantharaj Lad, who began Maratha Darshan in a very humble way in 1991. So ಶುರುನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಸರ್?
ಶುರುವಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು,
ಹಾಂ,
ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ, ಮತ್ತು ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ. ಸಮರ್ಥ
ಅಮ್ಮ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಅಮ್ಮ
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಕುಕ್. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಬೈ ಮಮ್ಮ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇಯರ್. ಮಸಾಲ ಆಗಲಿ, ಅಡುಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಮ್ಮ.
ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದ ರೆಸಿಪೀಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದು?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಹಾಂ. ಸೊ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕುಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರೋ ಅದೇ ಸೇಮ್ ರೆಸಿಪಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. So what's interesting is they began in 1991, but they began with the recipes that Mrs. Hemavathi Lad would cook at home. ಸೊ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂತು ಈ ಥರ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ? ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಮುಂಚೆ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂತು ನಿಮಗೆ?
ನನಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಬಡತನ, ಕಷ್ಟ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಗ ಫುಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ, ಮತ್ತು ಆವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಹೋಟ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಹಾಂ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದವೇ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತಾ ಇದು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಫುಡ್? ಅದ್ರ ಮುಂಚೆ
ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೋ ಬಿಡ್ತದೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಬ್ರು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ತುಂಬ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
So I was asking him what led to the beginning of Maratha Darshan, and he said it was nothing but necessity, and they were looking at creating to do something, to do an enterprise for their livelihood, and that's when they thought they should set up an eatery. And he was 45 then, he had no experience at all in the culinary line. He used to be a driver before that, and because of necessity and to earn a livelihood, they began Maratha Darshan in a small way, in a pushcart. You know, Maratha Darshan is in the heart of Bengaluru, in the heart of Bengaluru's CBD. He says people come from all the 30 districts of Karnataka for a meal here at Maratha Darshan. ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಊಟ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ?
ತುಂಬಾ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಮನೆ ಊಟದ ತರ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಮನೆ ಊಟ,
ಮನೆ ಊಟ ಸರ್, ಮೇನ್ ಮನೆ ಊಟ.
ಮನೆ ಊಟ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರದ್ದು ಮನೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಮರಾಠ ದರ್ಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕು.
ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ದೆಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಮದರ್. ಅಮ್ಮನ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೊಂದು ಫೀಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್.
How beautiful that was. So he says that everybody longs for food that's cooked by their mother. When they come here, when they come to Maratha Darshan and they watch Mrs. Hemavathi Lad here in the kitchen going about ladling out the dishes, they feel like they've come to a mother's home, and that's really the feel that they get when they come here to Maratha Darshan. That's so beautifully said.
Yes.
ಈಗ ಏನಿದೆ ಇದೆ ಈಗ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿದೆ?
ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಟನ್ ಫ್ರೈ ಇದೆ.
ಮಟನ್ ಫ್ರೈ.
This is actually our main dish.
ಸೊ ಇದು ಮಟನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ತರ್ತಾರೆ ಇದು?
ಅಪ್ಪ.
ಸೊ ಇದು ಮಟನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವೇ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ತೊಗೊಂಬರೋದು.
ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಡೆಲಿಷಿಯಸ್. ಇದು ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟಿ ಆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್.
This is mutton korma.
Mutton Korma.
This is Naati chicken.
Naati chicken.
Main dish.
So there is a country chicken, the free range chicken.
Keema balls are ready.
I can smell the aroma of that meat wafting out.
Keema ball alli there is no only meat and masala. That's it.
And masala.
Nothing else. ನಾವು ಕಡಲೆ ಹುರ್ಗಡ್ಲೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟ್. ಲಿವರ್ ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್ ಫ್ರೈ.
Mutton liver pepper fry.
Yes. You don't feel not even little smell in this liver.
Lovely. So now we're in the heart of Maratha Darshan. We're in the kitchen where the cooking happens. So Naveen, ಏನು cook ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? What are you cooking?
So this is chili chicken.
Chili chicken.
Chili chicken ready ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Chili chicken Maratha style.
Maratha style.
This is not the chili chicken Chinese style.
No.
ಇದು chili chicken ನಮ್ದು local. It is our local style.
Yes.
We've taken the chili chicken and made it our own.
That's it.
But then we've always had chili. So when was chili chicken ever somebody else's? It's always been our own. So ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ?
This is just a tomato, ಮೆಣಸಿನಕಾಯಿ ಇದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ ಸೊಪ್ಪಿದೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೇ. We don't use sauces, we don't use color, we don't use ajinomoto.
So everything is natural, everything is fresh, and everything is homemade. So even the spices are ground fresh at home.
Yes.
So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ?
Pepper chicken.
Pepper chicken.
Yes. Pepper chicken means 100% it's a pepper chicken ತರ. You
Ah.
should feel that pepper flavor.
So that is the popular Ragi Mudde. So this is only the millet and the water. So there's a lot of work that goes into making that Ragi Mudde.
Yes sir.
ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಕುಕ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ?
1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour.
So 1 hour you have to keep doing this?
Yes. That's why it's very soft.
My goodness. So Naveen says that everybody who comes here to Maratha Darshan comes here for that Ragi Mudde. But it's interesting to know that the Marathas centuries ago never had Ragi Mudde as part of the diet. So they've come into Karnataka and made that Ragi Mudde their own, and that is what has become the iconic staple here at Maratha Darshan along with that Naati chicken.
Yeah.
So when the Ragi Mudde is finally ready, it becomes extremely soft and pliable like this. So you can actually smell the roasting of the ragi, the millet at the bottom of this vessel, and that's the reason why they need to keep mixing it up to bring that to the top
Yes.
and mix the top to the bottom, right? So you get uniform heat overall. I can smell the toasty notes of this ragi as it's being cooked, as it's being coaxed, as it's being muscled to make that soft ragi mudde.
Yes.
So the ragi mudde is ready, but now it's being portioned into smaller roundels. So ಇದು ಬರೀ ನೀರು ಹಾಕಿ ಶೇಪ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
That's it sir.
You know, the simplest of foods, but there's so much of work, there's so much of effort that goes into creating that. And I think that's what we taste on the plate. And that's what we call deliciousness. So we've just finished our kitchen tour and I'm waiting to get to the table and eat. It's very organized, as you can see in Maratha Darshan. On the ground floor, you stand and eat. So you come here, you pay for your food, you collect your food and you eat. And upstairs is the area with service. So what I'm going to do is, although I can pay upstairs, but I'm going to order my dishes here and pay for them right here. 1 mutton chops, 1 Naati chicken. So mutton chops thali ali kodi. Naati chicken dish kodi. Matte mutton liver 1. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಕೀಮಾ ಉಂಡೆ ಕೊಡಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಕನ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಒಂದು ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್ ಚಿಕನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್. You know, we've come here to Maratha Darshan, we have to taste the dishes that are being offered. Thank you, sir. Let's go upstairs and eat some Maratha food. From here, you have a bird's eye view of the service area in the kitchen as the food's being dished out. You see the father at work, you also see the lady of the house dishing out portions. You know, it's such a happy atmosphere. It just gets your appetite going. There's even some hot water to wash your hands, like you would step into someone's home. So this is a small, cozy service area here, and I've got my receipt with all the dishes. So we've got the mutton fry meals, we've got the Naati chicken curry, the mutton liver, the mutton kheema, that's the kheema unde, this is the meatballs, the chicken chilli and the pepper chicken. So ordinarily you order one of these dishes in a thali and that's good enough, but we are here to taste the offerings at Maratha Darshan, so we've obviously gone overboard. So Vidala Tarved. Thank you. It's always wonderful when you're sitting, waiting for your food and around you, you watch people happily tucking into their meal. It's always a good sign. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಏನು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಚಾಪ್ಸ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? 3 years ಇಂದ. If you want to know what's good in a restaurant, always speak to the locals. Speak to people who are eating there as habit. They'll tell you what to order in those restaurants. Mutton chops.
Mutton chops.
So we made a beginning. I've got my Mutton Chops Thali. Buttermilk. I certainly need this buttermilk after all of this.
This is vegetarian sambar for vegetarian people.
Vegetarian sambar.
Soppu.
ಸೊಪ್ಪು ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಏನು ಸೊಪ್ಪು ಇದೆ?
All mixed soppu.
ಬರೋ ವೆಜಿಟೇರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್. 100%.
ಸೊ ಏನು ತಿಂತಾರೆ ಅವರು?
ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಈಗ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಟನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಗೆದು
ಸೊಪ್ಪಿನ ಸಾರು
ಇಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಹಪ್ಪಳ ಒಂದು ಉಪ್ಪಿನಕಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಮುಗೀತು.
So vegetarians are very easy to feed.
Yes.
So he says all that you do is you take this chops out, you put the Soppina Saaru here, which basically has all the greens, and you put some pickle and some papad, and they're happy. And some buttermilk. But that's not going to happen here. We're going to taste the Soppina Saaru, of course, but we're going to taste the chops first. What I'm interested in tasting first is that soft Ragi Mudde. This Ragi Mudde is so soft. It's sagging under its own weight. That's how soft this Ragi Mudde is. And it's hot. My fingers are burning. When you're eating Ragi Mudde, you dunk it into some gravy. And I'm going to dunk it into this Naati chicken gravy. Get that mudde to absorb all the gravy. And then just... The Ragi Mudde melts in the mouth. But this Naati Koli Saaru certainly has some spice. You can taste the garam masala, you can taste the chili on your throat. I love that grainy softness of this Ragi Mudde. I don't think I've ever eaten Ragi Mudde this soft. I'm going to taste this Ragi Mudde next with this Mutton Chops Thali. In this mutton chops, you can taste the freshness of the green masala that's gone into this. There's a fair bit of garlic. So garlic is an integral part of Maratha cuisine. And then all the spices that have gone into this. As some bite, what I like is a good distribution of fat in the meat, because ultimately it's the fat that conveys all the flavors of the meat. Well, I love the flavor of the masala. This masala also has the cloves, the cinnamon. And you can taste the warm, mellow, lingering heat of the spices in this masala. That meat is just cooked perfectly. It's got the bite and it's juicy. Juicy to absorb all the spices of that gravy. Naati Koli Saaru. This is another popular dish here at Marata Darshan. This is not your broiler chicken, but this is your Naati chicken or your country chicken, and you can tell that by the color of the meat. The meat almost looks like red meat. And this chicken here is cooked also with that skin. It's the skin of the chicken that gives it that flavor. That skin just melts away like butter. And I think I'm going to make a beginning with the chicken pepper dry here. So this is a chicken pepper dry with copious amounts of pepper, and that's the reason why you have this dark, almost black color. This of course is a broiler chicken. So I'm expecting this chicken to be soft. I'm going to have it with that curry leaf. I love that toasty pepper tones of this pepper dry. Oh, this is delicious. You know, all that you taste in this chicken is of course that juiciness of the meat and that mellow, lingering bite of that fresh pepper. You can taste the fact that these peppercorns have just been ground and incorporated into this dish. That's what gives it that fresh bite. This chicken is just cooked perfectly well. You know, I can feel that graininess of that black pepper masala on my fingers. This is the chili chicken which is done Karnataka style. Plenty of tomatoes which gives it that color, and that green chili which gives it that raw, spicy green chili heat. This chicken just parts away from the bone so gently. It's cooked as beautifully as that. You know, I've tasted many a chili chicken in Bengaluru, but this chili chicken here is next level. You know, many places you're tasting the chili chicken and you really can't get past the green chili because that's all that you taste, the mind-numbing pain of the green chili on your palate, and you taste little else. In this chili chicken, you definitely taste the chili, but you also taste the chicken. You taste the rest of the dish. You taste that mild sweet acidity of the tomato. It's such a well-balanced chili chicken. This certainly has to rate as one of the best chili chickens that I've tasted here in Karnataka. So usually when I'm tasting, I'm going bit by bit, dish by dish. But the last few dishes, actually all the dishes that I've tasted here have been so tasty that I'm going back for a second bite even before tasting the other dishes. That's how seriously good this dish is. You can see that green chili that's naping the spoon. You can see the tomatoes and that lush sauce, that thickness in that gravy. I spilled some of my chili there. That lush gravy napes the chicken, cocoons the chicken so well. When you're eating chicken, you need a sauce, you need a gravy that's as delicious, as flavorful as that. A look of happiness, that's what happiness looks like. We're going to go to our last chicken dish here, and this is a chicken 65. So this is a colorful chicken 65, and it's not at all the kebab that I was expecting or that most would expect. So this is actually a dry chicken preparation that's almost kebab-like and is tossed in a thick masala with yogurt, some Kashmiri chilies, plenty of curry leaves. There's also a fair bit of lime that goes into it. You can taste the acidity, the sourness of the lime that's probably gone into this chicken 65. It's an interesting dish, but I think it plays a distant second fiddle to some of the other dishes that I've tasted here. Next, I'm going to taste the Kheema Curry. And the Kheema Curry here is the Kheema Unde or the mutton mince balls. I love that rogan, the fat from the meat as the meat's cooked. That's skimming the gravy on top. I'm going to take some more of that gravy and ladle it over my Kheema Unde. That's one soft, crumbly mutton mince ball. All that you taste in this Kheema Unde is the meat. You know, sometimes when you're having the Kheema Unde, you're also tasting some of the binder that's gone into it. Maybe some gram flour, maybe something else that's gone in to bind it together. But out here, all that I taste is the flavor of that meat. And that gravy is so gentle, it merely straddles the Kheema Unde without overpowering. It's delicate, nuanced flavor. So I want to taste that rice first with that Kheema Unde Saaru, that Kheema Curry here. The rice is warm, just a sort of happy feeling, that gets your appetite going. That gravy is gentle. That gravy is a supporting act to the hero of this dish, which is that meaty, delicately flavored Kheema Unde. There is some green chili, there's perhaps a little bit of garlic, perhaps a little bit of ginger, but those ingredients serve just to help the flavor of the meat shine here. And the quality of the meat is just brilliant. Let's taste some of that mutton liver pepper fry next. You can see this is the pepper chicken cooked in pepper, and this is the mutton pepper dry, again cooked in pepper, but you can see the difference in the color, which comes from that deep meaty brown color of that mutton liver as it gets cooked. Typically when you're tasting mutton liver, at times it can be very hard, but this mutton liver is quite yielding to the bite. What I also find in this mutton liver is that the pepper, the strength of the pepper is a lot more apparent on the palate, because I guess it has to hold itself up to that meatiness, to that savory meatiness of that mutton liver. So you could taste the pepper in the pepper chicken, but you could also taste the chicken. But in this, the pepper too makes its assertiveness felt on the palate. The flavor of the pepper here stands shoulder to shoulder with that deeply savory, meaty flavor of that mutton liver. I think I'm going to take a brief break or an interlude to taste the two vegetarian dishes here. And this is the Soppina Saaru, which is a nourishing gravy that's made with all manner of greens. Well, that Soppina Saaru is hot. You know, I love the earthy flavors of this Soppina Saaru. To be honest, when I first looked at it, I thought it felt a little out of place. You know, what's a vegetable curry doing in the middle of all this meat? But when I inquired, I'm told people come here also for the vegetarian Soppina Saaru and that rasam that I'm about to taste next. And having tasted this Soppina Saaru, I can believe the establishment when they say we have vegetarians too who come here for the Soppina Saaru Thali. So you've got the spinach, you got the dill, the sabbaske soppu, and you got a bunch of other greens that have gone into it. You can't really pick on the individual flavors, but what you can certainly pick on is the nourishment that you get from every scoop of rice that's submerged in the Soppina Saaru. So typically most meals on the plate end with some rasam. You can certainly taste the tartness that perhaps comes from some tamarind that's gone in, and you can definitely taste the cumin. Now, whilst that's typically how most meals end here, I've saved some of the rice to be savoured with that mutton chops that I got right at the beginning of my meal. So I'm going to get some of my rice onto the plate, get some mutton as well, and drop that thick gravy on my rice. Break some onion, mix the gravy into that rice with some onion, and savor a hearty mouthful of that mutton chops. I'm going to get some more of that gravy on top of the meat. That's such a happy bite there. Happy mutton curry bliss here at Maratha Darshan. As I near the end of my meal here, I think some buttermilk would be just apt. You know, having tasted all these Maratha dishes, I feel like an honorary Maratha. But jokes aside, I think this has been such a delicious meal. I think what's interesting about a meal at Maratha Darshan is, of course, you have all these Maratha flavors that you taste. But what sets this eatery apart is the fact that there is a family involved. There's a lady of the house who's down in the kitchen ensuring that the dishes are cooked to recipes that she's been following for decades, and that gives it a touch of home. So when you come into Maratha Darshan, when you dine here at Maratha Darshan, when you see the family at work, when you see the lady of the house, when you see the father and you see the son all working together to serve their customers, it truly feels special. So if you're looking for some brilliant Maratha flavors right here in Bengaluru, make sure you come to Maratha Darshan and enjoy all that's on offer. Come with some friends, come with family, because there are plenty of dishes here for you to taste. Until the next episode of Gourmet on the Road, happy eating. I'm going to go back to that Kheema Unde. At Food Lovers TV, my team and I work hard to produce engaging food and travel videos. If you like our work, do check out our Patreon page where you can pledge a nominal sum in lieu of special privileges like behind the scenes footage, early video release, exclusive Q&As, merch and much more. For more info, check out the link in the description below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, share, like and leave a comment here. Happy eating!